Today, let's see what happens when this pure energy drops down to rho 2, the carbon series, where the soul actually begins to develop a physical body and boundaries. Let's explain this considering the physics and energy of homeopathy. When consciousness drops down from rho 1 to rho 2, the carbon series, it undergoes a profound metaphysical and structural condensation. In the frameworks of Rajan Shankaran and John Scalton, this transition is known as incarnation. It is the exact moment the soul leaves the cosmic void and enters the physical womb. By synthesizing physics, dimension, and homeopathic energy field, we can map exactly how this pure energy transition forms a formless wave into a bounded material reality. The dimensional shift from one dimension to three dimension. In rho 1, the hydrogen and helium energy exist in a zero-dimensional or one-dimensional state. It is a single isolated mathematical point or an infinite undifferentiated scalar field. There is no space, no mass, and no inside versus outside. In rho 2, the carbon series, the energy collapses into three-dimensional coordinate system. For the first time, the consciousness experiences space, length, width, and depth. This dimensional shift forces the vital energy to construct a physical geometry, a vessel, to contain itself. The physics analogy, phase, transition, and matter condensation. In physics, a phase transition occurs when the energy changes state, like gas condensing into a solid, due to a drop in temperature or an increase in pressure. The physics, rho 1 behaves like a pure unlocalized quantum wave function. Rho 2 represents the collapse of the wave function into localized particle. The energy slows down, increases its density, and develops mass and inertia. The energy field, the vital field changes from an open, infinite radiation field into a toroidal, donut-shaped electromagnetic field. A torus requires a center point, the self, and the peripheral boundary, the skin, wall, to loop its energy back into itself. Rajan Shankaran's concept of fetal life, the sensation of separation. For Dr. Rajan Shankaran, rho 2 represents the entire sequence of fetal development and the process of birth. The sensation, the overarching vital sensation of rho 2 is, am I completely separate or am I still attached? It mimics a baby in the womb, realizing it is no longer just a part of mother's body, but an independent entity. The core fear, because the boundaries are brand new, they feel incredibly fragile. The patient feels a constant terrifying threat of losing their body, being swallowed back up by the void, or having physical existence terminated. John Scalton's concept, the carbon series themes. John Scalton maps the carbon series in the development of the ego, value, and the physical body. The ego structure. If rho 2 is about existence, rho 2 is about identity. The soul asks, I know I exist, but what I am? What am I? What is my shape? What is my value? The materialization. The element in this row represents psychological building block of physical survival. It tracks the soul learning to process things, establishing a sense of self-worth, and realizing it has physical form that can be touched, hurt, or dropped. The elemental descent, how the energy field bound themselves. As you move from left to right across rho 2, the energy field becomes increasingly dense, rigid, and strictly bounded. Lithium of column 1, the first speck of matter. The energy, the absolute minimum configuration of solid matter. The state, the total weakness of boundary. Lithium feels physically incarnated but has no strength to hold its form. It is like a newborn baby completely exposed to the elements, desperately needing to fuse with the protector just to remain its shape. Beryllium of column 2, testing the walls. The energy, the field forms a faint passive perimeter. The state, beryllium behaves like a fetus noticing the walls of the uterus. It yields entirely to its environment, constantly adapting its shape to fit the boundaries imposed on it by others because its own internal structure is too soft. Boron, the doubtful border. The energy. The field oscillates wildly between expanding and contracting. The state. Boron is caught right at the threshold of the birth canal. It experiences a deep energetic doubt. If I step fully into the physical body, will I lose my spiritual freedom? Am I a body or am I a soul? Carbon, column 4, stage 10, the pinnacle of mass. The energy, total structural stability, the energy has perfectly crystallized into a diamond or graphite lattice. The state, it is absolute center of the row. The ego is fully formed, rigid and completely identified with the physical body. The carbon state says, I am the body, I have this value and my boundaries is absolute. There is a massive weight, stability and materialism to this energy. Nitrogen and oxygen of column 15 and 16. The struggle to escape. The energy, the bodies feel suffocatingly tight, internal pressure builds. The state, the body feels like a cage, nitrogen feels hyper-congested, claustrophobic and needs to explode outward to catch its breath. Oxygen feels completely strangled, fighting desperately for its individual life against a physical environment that is choking it. Fluorine and neon of column 17 and 18, breaking the boundary. The energy, the field tears open, fluorine, and then completely dematerialize back into a gas, neon. The state, fluorine is the energy of violent break or diverse from the body. It dissolves boundaries entirely. Neon is the final return to the blissful, bodiless state, completely detached from the physical form until the cycle drops into row 3. Thank you.